Hey friends, happy Sunday to you and welcome to this brand new webisode of Political Peaks. I'm your host, Diego Romo. We have an awesome show ahead of us today. We get a recap of Thursday's Engagement Matters Park City event organized by Action Utah, as well as a look into a recent report from the Census Bureau that lists Utah as number 2 in the country for keeping poverty levels in the state low. All that and more right now on Political Peaks. This past Thursday, Action Utah hosted an event up at the Park City Library that gave residents an opportunity to meet and interact with state representatives. The event, called Engagement Matters Park City, was organized to help facilitate conversations with the state senators and representatives that serve our community. It also gave attendees the chance to learn firsthand how to become more effective constituents. The legislators that attended the event were Senator Ron Winterton of Roosevelt, Representative Brian King of Salt Lake City, and Representative Tim Quinn of Heber. Let's speak with Action Utah's Executive Director, Andrea Himoff, now to learn more about the event.
Action Utah is a nonpartisan community advocacy organization, and we have one simple goal. That's to empower Utahns to get civically engaged so they can impact the issues they care about most. This event is about showing people in the community how engagement truly matters. I think the elected officials will tell us that they really appreciate constituent feedback, that they listen to their people and they want to know what we think. And there are specific ways that people can do that that are best practices that we can convey tonight. One thing they'll learn is how they can find information from their elected officials, how they can find out what their priorities are, what they're working on, what their positions are. And the other is how they can communicate and when they should communicate to their elected officials to make the greatest impact. I think it's very important for Park City constituents to get to know their elected officials, particularly because none of our elected officials at the state level are from Park City. The more that we can have conversations with the people who represent us, the better they get to know us and what our beliefs and our needs are so they can actually represent us well. We find every day that the more people speak up and have a voice, the more they can heal hyperpartisanship and polarization, the more that they can balance out extremist voices that sometimes dominate the political conversation, the more they create a greater alignment between constituents and elected officials. And at the end of the day, greater civic engagement, we believe, leads to better policy that reflects our beliefs and needs as Utahns, and also greater trust in government. So it's very important.
Now we hear from one of the legislators about their take on Engagement Matters.
We can't be an expert in everything that the legislature deals with on a yearly basis, so it's nice to hear other people's input. Secondly, even if we wouldn't necessarily completely change our mind, having the perspective of other people, even those who agree with you, can give a different perspective so that sometimes we can change a piece of legislation that we might have voted for, but because of that different perspective, we can tweak it to make it an even better piece of legislation.
If you want to learn more about Action Utah or to get involved, you can head to their website, actionutah.org. Now time for 2 quick political stories from around the state this week. First, a recent report by the Census Bureau lists Utah as the second best state in the nation for keeping poverty rates low. In fact, Utah's poverty rate, which was estimated at 7.8% during 2017 and 2018, was a third lower than the national average at 12% and is down from the state's 2015-2016 rate of 8.9%, which is great news for all those working on anti-poverty campaigns all across the state. Unfortunately, though, Utah was listed as number 34 in the nation for its rate of residents without health insurance during 2018, standing at 9.4%, which is up 0.2% from the last report released in 2017. And it's also higher than the national average, which stands at 8.9%. If you're interested, you can read the full report by heading to census.gov and heading over to the Newsroom tab. Lastly, Provo businessman Jeff Birmingham officially announced his candidacy for governor at a recent rally held up at the state capitol building on Tuesday. Birmingham framed himself as an inventive entrepreneur that would cut regulations on the private sector, update the state's struggling public education system, while at the same time being an advocate for Utah's rural communities. Birmingham, who is a political outsider, said that the priority of his campaign would be to get big government out of the way of entrepreneurial development within the state. For more information on Jeff Birmingham, you can head to his campaign website, jeffbirmingham.com. That's going to be it for us today here on Political Peaks, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. As always, follow us on all of our social media at Park City TV, and for more great community content, you can head over to the newly redesigned parkcity.tv. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next Sunday.